Ladies, gentlemen, and llamas, I welcome you as we have been given the opportunity to see this training event again, which is what we always say to our trainees rather than "you have failed." So this is the second time I am doing this video because the truth is I did it once, and as I was editing, I edited the whole thing. I had stopped when this package arrived immediately as I was working on a model tank. My fingers were disgusting, covered in paint. I don't want to show that to you. Now, I love to do the unboxings, like I call them live, where you are seeing the product for the first time as I am. And that's what I did. But like I said, I want to show you a cleaner me. I think the knife deserves it. I think you deserve it. I think Vosteed deserves it. I'll tell you why. Vosteed sent this knife over for the simple reason that I had a handful, quite a few requests from subscribers and viewers specifically to see this knife. And I got in touch with somebody at Vosteed, because Vosteed, the very first Vosteed knife I ever reviewed, I bought with my own money because I was interested. I heard a little bit about the brand and I really liked it. After that, Vosteed said, "Hey, we saw you did a review. Would you like to see some more?" And they sent me a couple. And then I took the chance to reach out and say, "Hey, I've got viewers based on some of your other stuff, and they've seen, they really want to take a look at this knife. Do you think it'd be possible for you to send me this model knife?" And I was a little uneasy because this is not an inexpensive knife. This is, as knives go, this is an expensive piece. Not the highest price, but it's not cheap. And the folks at Vosteed didn't even bat an eye. They said, "You guys, your folks want to see it? Sure." So I want that to point out, something comes with, having videos that people watch. And when I say please like, subscribe, comment and stuff, there's stuff that goes along with that, which is the ability to reach out to a company and say, "My folks really want to see this. Could you send one over?" So that's a great thing. While we don't have the surprise factor of opening this up for the very first time, we're gonna look at this knife because it is I've had the benefit of carrying it now for about a week, and I absolutely love this knife. It is, I think, well worth the price that they're charging for it, honestly. When we talk about how much I've loved carrying it and the materials and everything. What I don't have in front of me is, in this package, you also get, obviously, the knife comes sealed in plastic. We'll look at the packaging in a second. You get a little sticker. You get the little Vosteed patch that comes with it. This is kind of an upgrade to the usual Vosteed packaging. And Vosteed packaging is pretty cool overall. But inside this box, and the funny thing is, the reason I stopped my unboxing immediately is because I didn't recognize what the package was. The return address didn't say Vosteed, and it was just addressed to Mike. So I was like, I'm gonna do this unboxing in case it's something cool, and it was. So comes in this box, which is very different. The only other box of this type I've seen came with the Going Gear exclusive raccoon, which is kind of cool. So it's like a higher end packaging for them. And it is the only Vosteed knife that I've seen that comes in this Pelican style case. Now, it's not a genuine Pelican case, but it has a lot of good features. So it has a pressure relief valve inside, which is, you'll get a lot of plastic cases like this for a lot of knives, and I have one here. We won't point out what brand it is or anything, but it, hard case, but no pressure relief valve, which when you have an airtight seal, if you want to travel with it or whatever, I mean, that, I'm not going to get into it, but that's an important feature there. So yes, airtight gasket seal, super amount of padding in here. And inside is where everything came from. The knife, the stickers, the patch and everything. And also in here, lots of padding. So this is affixed in there, but you can do whatever you want with this box. I mean, it is a solid polymer box, very firm closure and everything. So that is kind of a higher end packaging right there. And you don't see that very often. You do see it with some cool knives, but that's nice. Now the knife itself. So let's get into the materials right away. So TC4, which also is 6 ALV for titanium. 6 ALV for, oh, what is it? T? C? V? I can't remember, but aerospace, aviation grade titanium. Full frame, your back spacer, even your clip, and the button for the lock, all titanium. And they did a great job with the ano everywhere. Now, this knife also comes in a just a bare metal finish, which is cool, but this, I wasn't sure which version they were going to send me. I didn't ask for one or the other. They just happened to send me this dark wash one. And this is a PVD coating, which has a little distressed look, which is really nice. The bare metal one just has kind of a little bronze collar around the pivot. This one I like because, and I do like the bare metal one. I mean, it's got kind of a nice, classy look to it, but this one has all the gold accents all around, which is really cool. Comes in 2 blade shapes. They say a Wharncliffe and a sheep's foot. Either way, they're both nice blades. I would be happy with either one of them. But this is the sheep's foot model. The blade is M390, and not a small chunk of M390 either. Now, just looking at the spine, it's a little hard to tell because it's all chamfered up at the top. But if you look at the width of the blade stock right here, you can really get a feel for how thick of a piece of steel you have. And that is important when talking about your knife, and I've said this before, because that is what is supporting the cutting edge here. So yeah, you are worried about edge retention and the strength and the toughness of the steel here, but all that shock transference, all that stuff, it all has to do, and how well it survives has to do with how much steel you have up here to support all that. And so while it looks a little thinner because of the way they machined it and everything, you still have that nice wide thick steel billet to support it all. I'm not sure if we want to call this a compound grind, but it is a pretty cool blade shape. Either way, you still have the same bevel angle all the way through. I think that's more stylistic than anything. It looks like it would be a hollow grind, but it is a flat ground knife. And it is a collaboration with RS Knife Works and Vosteed. So they don't, it's kind of hard when you look online, you're like, how do you pronounce that? The sticker actually says R.S.KAOS. Okay. So it's the RSKAOS. Online, it's just all capital letters. And, I'm glad that they sent the sticker because it kind of helps you pronounce it a little bit better. They have an interesting lock. Now, this is patent pending. And this is very similar to Spyderco's compression lock, but it is a little bit different. So I want to press the button, and that unlocks it. And the detent is on there. This thing is just drop shutty. You got 3 ways you can open this. You've got the flipper, and the action is super crisp. You've got middle finger. I think we said, can you do it with a thumb? I think you can. It doesn't feel as natural though, because you really got to kind of get your thumb in there. But you can open it with a thumb, or you can just use the button. Now, I am still learning exactly when, because this is something like when you one-hand a knife with a button, or an Axis style lock, you got to get the feel for exactly when to take your finger off the button and let that detent catch. And this is a relatively heavy blade, because remember, we have that real thick, solid blade stock on there. So I'm still kind of learning the exact mechanic as to where to let the button go so that you get that nice snap closed and let the detent grab it. The detent will grab it, and it will hold it. I'm just still kind of learning the exact right moment to do it, because it can be done. So it's totally one-handable knife, and listen to it open. It's got a great snap open. I'm not a fan of middle finger flicking, which just sounds terrible, but it really, the extra space in there really makes it easy to do. And you can kind of rotate where you want your leverage on your finger. So very high fidget factor on the knife too. And it's relatively simple handle, but it's comfortable. That clip, honestly, yeah, you feel it just slightly, but it really doesn't bother you at all. It's big hand friendly, which I love, and the jimping factor on it is great because you've got the machine work here, which is really nice. You don't feel it a whole lot, but it does get a little bit of grip. And then you've got jimping in 3 different places along the blade. So whether you just want traditional thumb ramp area, this is a choil that you can use for choking up, but also, for sharpening, of course. Helps you get the whole edge of the blade done. So you've got kind of like a middle area jimping. And then if you really want to choke up or get really good fine control of the point, you've got jimping there too. I love jimping all along the blade, and I don't know how many times you guys have seen me do a knife review and I'm like, well, why does the jimping stop? Or why isn't there jimping, or why don't we have more jimping? So much jimping. I love it. This choil is very comfortable too, and it gives you plenty of room without risking the finger poke right there. So, in my initial review, I said, yeah, I think I really like it. It seems really well made. Vosteed has great quality. I've been impressed, honestly, by everything they make. Fit and finish on it is great. The engineering is great. The materials, solid full titanium knife, even the button and the clip. Engineering is awesome. Out of the box, the action you see now is the action it had right out of the box. I have not, obviously, you look at the blade, I haven't used it for much because I just haven't been, I've had a grand total of 1 day back at work. Since I got this, I'm easing into it slowly, make sure I'm just healthy enough again to go to work. I don't want to go crazy with it. But this has been the knife I have been carrying. I really enjoy it. Yes, it has a little bit of weight to it, but I like the heavier kind of weight of the knife. It carries well. The clip is solid. It has a little bit of give, so it won't shred up your pockets. And it just feels really, really good. I think you could totally EDC this. Some people might say it's a little bit big for EDC. And I get that. You guys have been winning me over to the smaller EDC size. But this, I think, really does have a good EDC size, even though it's a little bit bigger. I love being able to get, especially with my big hands, I love being able to get a good grip on it. And the blade's not too big. It's just a shade under 3.5 inches, 3.46 inches. So that is EDC legal in most places. I do know there are some places where 3 inches is the legal limit, but for the vast majority, this is a legal blade. I get it. There are the places where a locking blade is illegal, and I think that's stupid, but, besides that. Now the price. Okay, yes. Damn near $250. But would I honestly pay that for this knife? Honestly, I would, because I've paid more for similar knives. If you put a different brand name on this knife, if you put a quote-unquote fancier brand name on this knife with the exact same materials, and the exact same workmanship, and the exact same fit and finish, there are companies that would charge, and people would pay twice as much for this knife. Guarantee it. I'm going to throw the name Benchmade out there. I haven't bought anything Benchmade in, I can't count how many years, because quite honestly, I feel, my opinion only, the Benchmade of today is not the Benchmade it once was, when that name meant a lot more. But if this knife had a Benchmade butterfly on it, this would be a $500 knife, and people would buy it and would be happy with the purchase. If it was a Spyderco knife, it would be $400 or $500, and people would buy it. If this was a Chris Reeves knife, because this is the same materials that Chris Reeves uses in some of his knives. And I know somebody will say, okay, well, they're all made in the USA and Idaho. And man, I was stationed in Idaho for 8.5 years, and I did not know his shop was like an hour away from where I was. And I wish I had gone and toured it. But I'm just saying, the workmanship is really good. The mechanics are really good. The materials are really good. I think it is, in fact, worth the money. Because there are people who would pay more than this for the exact same thing. Just it happens to have a different brand name on it. And I have paid out of my pocket for Vosteed because they know how to put together a solid knife. I guess, I've been talking this whole time and I haven't gone back to the actual paper test or the cord. This thing is, and like I said, I haven't used it for much, but I've used it. So this has slightly, you know, little use on the blade. It's M390 though. I don't expect it to lose its edge at all just for some daily tasks. I mean, it's a great steel, and that's the point. And we'll do a slice. Like absolutely nothing. Let's do our pull through. No, I mean, I'm gonna do that again because just no effort. Nothing. Pew! 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 It just pews through it all. It's just a really well finished knife. And I really like the fact that we can get that edge right on the tabletop. Nice fine point, and we can do, like I said, some, oh, this poor, look, my poor board. It's all coming off. We could really get some fine work done if we need to. Like I take it to the shop and I could trace shapes in tape or masking material. There's other masking material besides tape. That's why I say masking material. Hydrographics or whatever, you know, I could do that fine work with this and then still have like a good utility EDC blade. So kids outside having fun in the snow, if you can hear that in the background, I don't know. So I am actually a really big fan of this, even more so than the first time I unboxed it. So I'm kind of glad I can do this video again and give you some firsthand insights. I am really enjoying carrying it, and I will continue to carry it. There is, of course, a link to Vosteed's website in the video description because they were awesome enough to send this over. So please feel free to take a look at that, just to see what they have. They have a lot of different models. There's another one I'm hoping they'll be able to send us because people have asked to see that also. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It was out of stock at the time. So hopefully we'll get to see that when it is in stock. And there's another one that is really hard to get called The Grind. It's constantly sold out because people love it. And I just keep hitting the refresh button. And as soon as it's available, I'm gonna buy it. And we're gonna take a look at it because I wanna see it too. It's a folding Scandi grind. I really want to know what you think of this knife, and you don't have to hold back. If you don't like it, say you don't like it. Recently, Vosteed asked me for my comments and ideas on another knife thing they're doing. So they look for feedback. If there's something you don't like about it, say it. Let them know. But I absolutely want to know your thoughts on this knife. And those of you who wanted to take a look at it, who wanted me to review it, what do you think? Is there something you think I missed that you'd like to know about? Is there something you want a closer look at? Maybe a cutting test I didn't do that you'd like to see? But this is here because you guys asked. And I'm carrying it so I can get some use out of it and then really give you guys a follow-up and let you know. So thanks guys for asking, for requesting and giving me the idea to reach out and ask Vosteed for us to see it. Thank you, Vosteed, for being cool enough to send one over so we can take a look at and I can test it out for a little bit and do a follow-up later on. Remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I will be back again real soon.